Hey everyone, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. This is Silver Hyena, back with more What Can I Do with Extremely Cheap Watercolors? Adventures in Watercolors, as I called it when I started this channel, which I have no idea what number I'm on at this point, because things get all kinds of mixed up. But anyways, it's about time I went over Crayola watercolors. I mean, pretty much, I would think that this would be just about anyone and everyone's first introduction to watercolors, you know, when you're like 3 years old. Now then, something about these is that, for some reason, I had a very hard time getting a hold of these. Yes, Crayola watercolors. I waited several months because I didn't want to order online for something like this, because it's like, whenever I saw them, I was like, I can get them for cheaper at Walmart. And then Walmart never freaking had them. I finally broke down, spent about, oh, I didn't even realize there was a crack in the case there. Anyways, I finally broke down and spent about $5 at Joann's, which is probably my least favorite of the major craft stores, by the way. But I spent like $5. And then the next day, when I went into my local Wally World for some grocery shopping, they had them for like $2. Go freaking figure. But because I can be exceptionally lazy, or no, not lazy, I prefer to think of it as having time management skills. I decided it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep this. I'm not gonna bother returning it and buying it at the other place, because honestly, it's because I work retail myself, which sucks, but you know, bills don't pay themselves. I just hate doing that. It is like one of my personal pet peeves. Unless there is something really bad, really wrong, I cannot bring myself to do it. I do not want to be that person. I do not want to descend into a Karen. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. It is time to unbox these. Wasn't that satisfying? Alright. And I also, like, this looks really nice. This is actually very aesthetically pleasing. Oh, and look. Okay, there's a few stray hairs that may need to be nipped at, but this, for a brush that just comes with the kit, this doesn't look half bad. I mean, like, it's plastic, but while there's a little bit of give, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break, and the color selection is actually very nice. And okay, it's like I cut off the thing where it shows weight and whatnot, because this is the Cra-Z-Art set that I got, but just wanted to show you the difference in the color selection of the Crayola versus Cra-Z-Art, which, to be fair, the Cra-Z-Art was not half bad, but this is definitely like twice as heavy as this. I also paid twice as much, but I'm not getting on that subject again. I just wanted to show you a comparison. And does this thing close? There we go. Oh, before, okay, here, just in case, here's the flimsy brush that came in that set. Like, you see how much that bends versus, come on. Oh, the brush itself is also a lot bigger, but I'm gonna need to do something about those stray hairs. Yeah, and like, you've got little separation for mixing. This one, it's like all just one palette, although that, like, I'm gonna need to cover that with some tape or something. I didn't realize it had the crack when I bought it. Joann's, I got ripped off. Ah! Okay, I'll stop. This one, I also just like the color selection better. Alrighty, so with that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so as far as some cheap watercolors go, my initial first reaction, it's not terrible. So that's a good sign. Anyways, I'm going to finish up these swatches, and then I need to think of something to paint with these. Such bright colors. I do like the colors. Crayola, you guys. Alright, so here we are. The swatches overall, they don't look half bad at all. The blending could be better, but like, you know, it's not, I can see that there will be use for these, although one thing I did notice, the brush has a tendency to spatter and lose hairs. However, maybe you could just call that texture and then sell the painting for several $1,000s in one of those modern art galleries. Hey, people have done stranger things. Anyways, I think it is high time I get to the actual illustration portion of this video, and just because I'm an art masochist, while painting, I'm only going to use the brush that came with the set. I mean, I did it with that flimsy Cra-Z-Art brush. I can do it with this one. Right. Okay, first off, I love the way this floofy guy turned out. I may have to draw him again sometimes since I ran into a few issues. Nothing too major, but you'll see later on. But seriously, just look at that smile. Okay, so slight nitpick here, although it's more about myself and not the paints. I'm regretting using that Micron brush pen that I purchased off of Wish a while back. I don't know if it was the paint itself or the water, but the ink certainly reacted and kind of muddied things up a bit. Still suspicious that thing is a knockoff. I mean, I got it off of Wish, so you never know with that place. But we're not here to discuss the legitimacy of art supplies purchased from Wish.com. Was it worth paying the extra to finally get my hands on Crayola watercolors only to begin tripping over the darn things everywhere I go now? Let's just say it's too late to get my money back from Joann's. Although, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I wouldn't be able to bring myself to do it anyway. I just can't. I just can't. Potential unpopular opinion coming up. But I think that I actually preferred using the Cra-Z-Art Watercolor set over this one. Yep, your ears do not deceive you. This is a rare case indeed, but I had an easier time building up the layers with the Cra-Z-Art watercolors. With that being said, I do prefer the overall color selection of the Crayola set. Naturally, neither the Crayola or Cra-Z-Art watercolors can hold a candle to Daniel Smith or Paul Rubens. However, this would hardly be a fair comparison. I mean, that would be like having a Pee-wee football team go up against the Dallas Cowboys or the Seattle Seahawks. It's just not fair. As for ease of accessibility, well, my personal tale of woe aside, Crayola are much easier to come by as opposed to the before-mentioned watercolor giants. You also won't have to skip the rent payment or go without groceries for a month if you want a set of Crayola watercolors. I can't make any guarantees about the Daniel Smith. Let's see here. Oh, the brush. Oh, the brush. A common source of sour grapes for me, but hopefully entertaining for you, the viewer. Usually I do not like the brushes that come in these little sets. At the very least, this Crayola brush is a lot sturdier than the Cra-Z-Art one. However, my painting was gaining just a little more, shall we say, texture than I would have preferred, since the bristles kept falling out. But what can you expect from a cheap paintbrush? Aside from that, it was usable, but I think that Ohuhu came with a much better set of brushes. Okay, I don't think. I know Ohuhu came out with a much better set of brushes. Overall, while hardly spectacular, Crayola watercolors are at least honest. They know what they are. Honest, simple, and dare I say humble. If you've used these before, let me know what you think of them in the comments below. Okay, so here we are. I have to say overall, I did have fun with these, although the Crayola paints do like to kind of run all over the place. Kind of just doing their own thing, just whatever. So there is that to keep in mind, although I'm not sure if it's just the paper or if it's the paints, but these are inexpensive watercolors. I mean, like, these aren't no Daniel Smith. So, but are they usable? Yes, they are usable. Just brace yourself for a lot of smudgified, smearing. Like, they're gonna do what they want. Like, watercolor kind of like Eric Cartman. Whatever, I do what I want. So take that with a grain of salt. However, as far as the price, average price I've seen is anywhere from $3 to, like, you can get bigger sets for like $6, $7, $10. It depends on where you get them. Like, the price point, it's not half bad at all. I mean, like, the quality, it's not the best. I still had fun with it, but I'm gonna say it. Despite the more limited colors, I actually think I enjoyed using the Cra-Z-Art watercolors a bit more. Yeah, I actually said it. Please, please, please refrain from your torches and pitchforks. This is merely an opinion, okay? It's an opinion. Meaning we all have different opinions and we're all allowed to have one. I know, shocking. So how about this? Post in the comments if you prefer Crayola watercolor or Cra-Z-Art watercolor. Me, I prefer Daniel Smith or Paul Rubens, but I understand that not everybody can afford those. Anyways, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, while we're at it, why not visit my Instagram at SilverHyenaArt. And with that being said, this is Silver Hyena, signing off. Stay creative, everybody. Bye!